Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting shortly. We're just having a few technical difficulties in the courtroom with the computer.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Hey, Mr. Jordan, I'm sorry. Is there any way we can start the breakout session for position number 8 in courtroom 3 with Ms. Kim and the interpreter, please?
I don't think the interpreter's logged on yet.
Yes, I'm present.
Oh, she is? Okay. Well, all right. We'll do. You said
Thank
courtroom
you.
3?
Yes, courtroom 3.
Okay.
Courtroom 2, do we have any medical resets?
No medical resets, but we do have a waiver of appearance, and that's going to be position 1.
Thank you, courtroom 2.
You're welcome, Ms. Falk.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Judge Mincy, PD Kim is currently in courtroom 3 with the interpreter. So if we could start with addressing either Ms. Gant's cases or Ms. McLeod's cases.
Okay. Did you hear that courtroom 2? Ms.
Yes.
Gann has which numbers? Or do you already know that?
Yes, I already know. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay.
We'll be starting with position 4. Good afternoon, Judge. And this is Ms. Hofford.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Judge Regina Mincy, and this is the State Court of Fulton County, the Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar in which cases have been accused and which persons have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, these cases have been brought by the Fulton County Solicitor General's office, and the cases have been bound over to the state court here where we are today. Nevertheless, this will generally be the defendant's initial appearance before state court judge. So we're going to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to begin by warning and letting everyone know that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube. So govern yourselves accordingly. I'm going to also begin by letting the defendants on this calendar know that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say about the facts and the occurrences of your case can and will be used against you. Listen to your attorneys and govern yourselves accordingly. You also have a right to an attorney, which most of you should know who that is by now, whether it's private or the PD's office. And just want you to remember that the solicitors are here and they're listening to anything that you might say. All right, we're going to start with position 4. It's case number 22 CR 006241J, and that's Amy Hofford, charged with 1 count of simple battery. The offense date is April the 16th, 2022. Pre-trial?
6 total. Last arrest was 2020. Forgery, criminal trespass. The forgery was dismissed. She had a 2017 battery DV, battery against a person 65 years or older. It was dismissed. I think after she went to TDC with that one, so it was dismissed. 2014 possession of meth, suspended license. 2010 possession of meth, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. It was dismissed. And a DUI conviction. That's from the 90s. That's it.
Okay. ASG Tortorella.
Yes, Your Honor. For this charge, a $3,000 surety bond, the conditions is no contact with the victim, and his name is Jared Johnson. The first name is J as in Jeff, A, R as in Robert, O, D as in dog, and Johnson is traditional spelling. To stay away from 2306 Calabre Creek Parkway. Calabre is spelled C-A, L as in log, I, B as in boy, R-E, and that's in Roswell. 1 day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this defendant is a flight risk. She poses a risk of reoffending and is a danger and threat to Mr. Johnson. She has an open prior case against the victim. It's 20 CR 005-820G for criminal trespass, interference with property. And this incident occurred on August 19th, 2019. She FDA'd on December 9th, 2021 to a plea and arraignment calendar before Judge Mather. And it's currently on, that case is currently on dormant bench warrant status. Your Honor, this incident occurred on April 16, 2022 at 2306 Calabre Creek Parkway. The Roswell Police Department responded to a domestic disturbance call located at the incident location. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the victim, Jared Johnson, who stated that he got into an argument with his roommate, the defendant, Amy Hofford. Mr. Johnson stated that he was in the bathroom and the defendant tried to open the door. And when she eventually did, she proceeded to hit Mr. Johnson in the arms with a shoe. Mr. Johnson provided cell phone video that was observed by the officer and corroborated with his statements. The defendant was arrested and these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, as far as intimidation of witness and the victim, it is foreseeable due to the facts of this case and the fact that there's an open prior case against involving this defendant and the same victim that she will in fact continue to intimidate him. Mr. Johnson also stated to the police officer that he told Hofford to stop hitting him numerous times, but Hofford continued to hit him. The only reason why this defendant stopped hitting the victim was due to him threatening to call 911. Johnson stated that he tried to go into his bedroom to wait for officers to arrive, but Hofford continued to argue with him. In the video, you can hear Johnson telling Hofford to stop hitting him multiple times. And Mr. Johnson also tried to back away from Hofford to avoid from being hit. And again, Your Honor, she does pose also a risk of reoffending due to her 6 cycles. She does have a violent history on her record. So for that reason, we do believe a $3,000 surety bond is more than reasonable. Nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Amy Hofford is 57 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She has an elderly mother in the area along with a sister, and neither is available to assist with bond. We are opposed to the stay away at the incident location. However, I was unable to make contact with Mr. Gerard Johnson. Therefore, we will defer to the court's ruling. And if Your Honor issues a stay away, we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that Ms. Hofford may retrieve her belongings. Ms. Hofford completed high school and she has a master's degree in early childhood education. However, she has been disabled since 2011. She strongly denies the allegations and informs me that it is Mr. Johnson who has in fact been abusive to her. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond. According to the report that I received, she is eligible through pretrial services. If Your Honor determines that she is ineligible, then I would ask that Your Honor not order a one-day anger awareness course for her. We would ask for, again, that one-time law enforcement escort and a bond of no more than $1,000 if Your Honor determines that she's ineligible. And regarding a danger of reoffending and being a flight risk, that's FTA 2019, quite remote, Your Honor. And this incident occurred back in April of 2022. And if the incident in 2019 is between the same victim, that right there is a 3-year gap. And again, she's presumed innocent in this case, in that open case as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, the state doesn't consider the 2019 FTA remote because it still involves an open case, Your Honor.
Ms. Gant, what is the relationship again with the parties?
It's a roommate.
Roommate, okay.
They determined that.
Ms. Hoffer, please remain silent. The judge is about to rule.
I thought you just said I could talk, I'm sorry.
No, I said.
No, please remain silent. And I do apologize, Your Honor.
And then do we know about the lease, whose name is on the lease? Is it in both names or?
My mother.
She informed me that it is in fact her mother who is the leaseholder for that property, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, the defense doesn't have any proof of that. Since there's a victim that still resides in the house, the state is imposing a stay away.
I'm moving.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. However, I'm going to order a no further contact with Mr. Johnson. Right now, I'm going to order that stay away from the 2036 Calvary, Parkway, and Roswell, and a one-time law enforcement escort to return to retrieve her personal items, because I'm not sure, again, what the situation is, and if the victim is still there, we certainly don't want any more harm to come to the victim. Sometimes I will put, if they have that one-time escort, get there with law enforcement and discover that there are no personal belongings there of the victim, and the victim does not reside there, that they can. And I'm fudging a little bit there because of the property being in the defendant's mother's name, possibly, and I'm just not sure about the living situation, and you never can tell. So I'm going to order the stay away for now until we can figure that out, and possibly Ms. Gant can come back and do a bond modification motion if we determine that the victim has moved from that location. But right now, just let there be a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve her items. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else we need to take up?
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, you do. No questions at the bottom? I'll explain it to you. Position 12, Mr. Wood.
This is 22 CR 006246E. Brandon Christopher Wood, you're charged with one count of battery family violence. The offense date is September the 5th, 2022, pretrial.
He got over 30. He has a parole hold. He was convicted for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm during a commission, robbery, ag assault, 2010. They gave him 13 years to serve and 2 years probation for that. Before that was 2009 ag assault, battery, possession of a firearm during a commission. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon, conviction 2009. Got another ag assault and possession conviction from 2008. 2008 cruelty to animals arrest, disorderly conduct, 2 counts of misdemeanor obstruction, 07 FTA. So everything is beyond that. That's all.
All right. ASG Bacchus,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. There's already a $5,000 surety bond in place. The state is asking that remain in place. No further contact with the victim, Jasmine Brewer. Stay away from the incident location, which is 1209 Hadley Drive in Union City. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. This incident occurred on the 5th of this month. Officers spoke with the victim, Jasmine Brewer, who showed officers video footage that was affixed inside of the home. The defendant pushed Ms. Brewer into a wall and then violently pushed her to the ground as he struck her numerous times, causing bruising to her left shoulder and a laceration. Your Honor, based on the history, the fact that he's wanted out of Union City for the ag assault and wanted by parole, by the parole board. He's got numerous FTAs and again, the years that he didn't commit crimes, he was incarcerated, Your Honor. So based on the history, we are asking that $5,000 surety remain in place. Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 42 years old. He has lived in the Atlanta area all his life. He is the father of 2 adult children. He tells me that he does not have a job right now. He's unemployed because he had been incarcerated and he has not been able to pick up a job until since he came out, he's not been able to find employment. He denies the allegations and he states that, in fact, it was the complaining witness who first attacked him, that she has been just giving him a hard time. Every time she's around him, she tries to control everything that he does. And what she says, then she gets angry with him, starts arguing with him, and she frequently attacks him. He is not interested in having any further contact with her, Your Honor. So staying away will not be an issue for him. Because he's unemployed right now, Your Honor, $5,000 surety bond essentially is no bond for him. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration and setting his bond at something lower than what it currently is, because he's not in a position to pay that bond at the moment, and he doesn't have anyone to help him with it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to order a $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Jasmine Brewer. I'm going to order stay away from 1209 is it Cagney Drive in Union City.
Yes, Hadley.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing
No.
further. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 6, Hunt.
This is 22 CR 006243Y. Shakima Hunt, you're charged with 1 count of driving while license suspended or revoked, 2nd count of no insurance, and a 3rd count of knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended, canceled, or revoked registration. The offense date is September the 15th, 2022. Pre-trial.
6 total. Last arrest was February 2021. Suspended license conviction. 2020 battery arrest. 2019 DUI arrest. 09 assault from New York. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, ASG Tortorella.
Yes, Your Honor. This defendant currently has a holdout of Lovejoy, Clayton County, Georgia, for a violation of probation on driving with a suspended license case. The warrant was issued on January 11th, 2022, and she's currently being held with no bond. Her license has an active suspension, and it shows on her driver's history. It's been suspended since March 25th, 2022, and there is no reinstatement date for that. This incident occurred yesterday, September 15th, 2022, at Roosevelt Highway in Union City. Sergeant D. McEachin of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office was traveling eastbound on Roosevelt Highway in Union City when she noticed a black and color Ford Fusion slam on the brakes and make an abrupt left turn onto Dixie Lake Road. Once the officer ran the tag, it was discovered that the vehicle had no insurance and a suspended registration. And upon approaching the driver, identified as the defendant, Ms. Shaquem Hunt, the officer was able to run her driver's license and it came back suspended. The defendant was arrested, and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, for the driving while license suspended, the state's recommending a $1,000 signature bond. For the no insurance, a $500 signature bond. And for the no registration, a $500 signature bond. So that'd be a total of a $2,000 signature bond, and the defendant can only be released to the hold in Lovejoy. Conditions are no driving, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
All right,
I have no objection, Your Honor.
okay.
Yes.
All right, I will order the $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order on the first charge, $1,000 signature bond, second charge, and no insurance, $500, and third charge, $500 signature bond for a total of $2,000. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and no driving. So you obviously don't have a driver's license, so you'll have to take other means of transportation, Ubers and Lyfts, but please do not drive once you get out on bond. And that should do it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, are you going to release her to the hold?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. And you are to be released to the Lovejoy hold.
Thank you, Your
Position
Honor.
9, Pollard.
I'm sorry, Francois. Can we do position number 8? The interpreter case, please, in courtroom number 3.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is, oh, I'm sorry, Madam Interpreter, may I swear you in, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that you will interpret, and I should have asked, I'm sorry, what is the language that you're interpreting?
Spanish, Your Honor.
All right. Do you affirm that you will faithfully interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish the proceedings before you today in this court in an accurate manner with the best of your ability and skills and knowledge without any embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, I will go a little slower. I'll try to remember. This is case number 22 CR 6250G.
Ese es el número de causa 22 CR 0250G.
Case is State versus Ortiz Cortez or Bernardo Ortiz Cortez.
El Estado contra Ortiz Cortes, Bernardo Ortiz Cortes.
Charged with one count of driving homicide by vehicle in the second degree.
Se le acusa de una infracción de manejar provocando un homicidio en el segundo grado.
Second charge of following too closely.
La segunda infracción es manejar muy de cerca a otro vehículo.
Third charge of driving homicide by vehicle in the second degree.
Una tercera infracción de manejar, provocando un homicidio en el segundo
And a fourth,
grado.
and a fourth charge of driving speeding.
Y una cuarta acusación de manejar en exceso de la velocidad indicada.
All with the offense date of July 18th, 2021.
Todas las infracciones tienen la misma fecha de incidente, el 18 de julio 2021.
Do we have anything pre-trial?
This is fifth arrest.
Los servicios previos al juicio tiene datos que aportar. Es su quinto arresto.
Last arrest was May 2021, battery DV.
La última detención fue el 20 de mayo 2021, violencia en el hogar.
Before that was 2009 out of Florida.
Anterior a eso fue una detención que ocurrió en 2009 en el estado de Florida.
Suspended license conviction.
Una condena por manejar con la licencia suspendida.
2007 suspended license.
Luego, I'm sorry, sir, from pretrial, what suspended license, and what was that last part?
Just suspended license.
Okay. En el 2007, una acusación de manejar con la licencia suspendida.
Another arrest in 2007, driving motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Otra detención en el 2007 por manejar un vehículo sin una licencia válida.
And he had a 2021 speeding ticket. He pled NOLO too.
Y luego le dieron una boleta de infracción en el 2021 por manejar en exceso de la velocidad indicada y él se declaró nulo a la infracción.
That's it, Judge.
Es todo.
All right. Deputy Falk.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
This incident happened July 18th, 2021 at approximately 11:45 a.m.
Bueno, licenciada, sí, su señoría. El incidente ocurrió el 18 de julio de 2021 a aproximadamente las 11:45 de la noche.
Officers responded to the intersection of Old National Highway and Thornton Drive in reference to a pedestrian.
Los agentes de policía acudieron a la intersección de la Old National con la Thornton Drive referente a un peatón,
Who was later identified as 50-year-old Stephanie Jefferson,
que posteriormente identificaron como una señora Stephanie Jefferson, que tenía 50 años,
who had been struck by a vehicle.
al que un vehículo había atropellado.
Officers interviewed a witness as well as both drivers.
Los agentes de policía entrevistaron a testigos y también hablaron con conductores.
Ruby Howard, one of the drivers, stated she was traveling north on Old National Highway.
Ruby Howard, una de las conductoras, dijo que iba manejando rumbo al norte sobre la Old National Highway
When she observed Miss Jefferson located by her mailbox.
cuando observó a la señora Jefferson que estaba al lado de su buzón.
Miss Howard stated she changed lanes in order to avoid striking Miss Jefferson.
La señora Howard dijo que se cambió de carril para evitar pegar a la señora Jefferson.
Mr. Howard stated that the defendant, who was traveling behind her, then struck Miss Jefferson.
La señora Howard dijo que el señor acusado, que iba manejando detrás de ella, luego se chocó con ella,
which sent Miss Jefferson's body airborne for approximately 30 yards.
lo cual provocó que el cuerpo de la señora Jefferson volara una distancia de 30 yardas.
Investigators determined that when he struck Miss Jefferson, he was traveling approximately 62 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone.
La investigación determinó que en el momento de chocar con la señora Jefferson, estaba corriendo a 62 millas por hora en una zona de 45 millas.
Ms. Howard then stated that the defendant rear-ended her vehicle after he struck Miss Jefferson.
Luego la señora Howard dijo que después el acusado le pegó a ella por detrás después de haber atropellado a la señora Jefferson.
Defendant stated when he spoke to the police that he did not see Miss Jefferson at the time he was driving.
El señor acusado dijo en el momento de hablar con la policía que no vio a la señora Jefferson cuando iba manejando.
And I just want to remind the court that this happened at approximately 11 a.m.
Y quiero recordarle, su señoría, que este incidente ocurrió aproximadamente a las 11 de la mañana.
And from looking at the police report, I am not seeing any indication that the conditions were difficult to observe the roadway.
Y viendo lo que sale en el informe policial, no veo ninguna indicación no tengo ninguna indicación que las circunstancias de poder ver en la vía estaban difíciles ese día.
Miss Jefferson was transported to Grady Hospital where she later died from her injuries.
A la señora Jefferson la trasladaron al hospital Grady y posteriormente falleció por las heridas que sufrió. If the interpreter may interrupt one moment, the interpreter made a mistake. Originally, the interpreter said that it happened at 11:45 p.m. The interpreter needs to correct that it was 11 a.m., correct?
Right, a.m.
Okay.
That is correct. Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Señor, me corrijo, cuando la señora licenciada estaba dando la información, yo dije que a las 11:45 de la noche, pero de hecho era las 11:45 de la mañana.
Thank you. We have spoken to the next of kin of Miss Jefferson, that is Leonard Jefferson.
Hemos hablado con el pariente más cercano a la señora Jefferson, que es el señor Leonard Jefferson.
And Mr. Jefferson says that he feels this was a terrible accident that killed his wife because of the defendant not paying attention or driving too fast on Old National Highway.
Y el señor Jefferson dice que fue un accidente terrible que resultó en la muerte de su esposa porque el señor acusado no estaba poniendo atención y iba muy rápido.
He stated the impact of the crash knocked his wife's body to the back of the house, and it took several hours to find his wife's body in the kudzu plants.
Él dijo que el impacto de haber chocado con ella aventó su cuerpo a la parte posterior de la casa y tardaron varias horas para encontrar su cuerpo en la maleza de kudzu que había atrás.
He also said he feels terrible for the family of the defendant and that it has been a hard journey for him and his daughter, Diamond Jefferson.
También mencionó que se siente terrible por la familia del señor acusado y ha sido muy difícil para él y su hija, Diamond Jefferson.
I want the court to take note that the entirety of this defendant's history is driving-related offenses.
Quiero que usted note, su señoría, que la totalidad del historial de los antecedentes en su historial de manejo son incidentes de manejar.
And the defendant also had a driving history out of Georgia that included a failure to obey stop sign.
También tienen sus antecedentes un caso en el estado de Georgia cuando desobedeció un señal de parar.
And a 2021 speeding.
Y un caso en el 2021 de manejar en exceso de velocidad.
Which was 61 in a 40.
Iba a 61 millas en una zona de 40.
And the investigators determined he was going on this date, 62 in a 45.
Y los investigadores determinaron que en esta fecha del incidente iba a 62 en una zona de 45.
We feel that but for the defendant's insistence on speeding,
sentimos que si no fuera por el acusado insistir en exceder o superar los límites de velocidad,
Miss Jefferson would still be with her husband, Leonard Jefferson, and her child, Diamond Jefferson.
La señora Jefferson aún estaría con su esposo, Leonard Jefferson, y con su hija, Diamond Jefferson.
The state is requesting a $17,000 split bond.
El estado está pidiendo una fianza de $17,000 dividida.
That is going to be a $10,000 surety bond on the vehicular homicide in the second degree.
Sería una fianza de caución de $10,000 por la infracción de homicidio por vehículo en el segundo grado.
A $1,000 surety bond on the speeding offense,
Luego una fianza de $1,000, una fianza de caución por la infracción de manejar en exceso de velocidad.
a $5,000 signature bond on the second charge of vehicular homicide,
Luego una fianza bajo palabra de $5,000 por la segunda infracción de homicidio por vehículo.
and a $1,000 signature bond on the following two closely.
Y luego una fianza de $1,000, una fianza de caución por la infracción de manejar muy de cerca a otro vehículo.
Which makes for a total of a $17,000 split bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving.
Lo cual resulta en una fianza de caución de $17,000 dividida. Mientras está en libertad bajo fianza, no puede consumir nada de alcohol, ni droga, ni estar en posesión de armas.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, su señoría.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Bernardo Ortiz Cortez is 44 years old, Your Honor.
Licenciada Kim, de la Defensoría. Sí, el señor Bernardo Ortiz Cortés tiene 44 años de edad, su señoría.
We are very, very sorry to hear of the loss. Condolences to Stephen Jefferson and her family members.
Sentimos mucho la pérdida que sufrió la familia de Stephen Jefferson y todos sus familiares.
Mr. Bernardo has been here in Georgia for 6 years.
El señor Bernardo tiene 6 años aquí en el estado de Georgia.
He has 4 children. And
Tiene
his
4
wife,
hijos y su esposa.
22 years old, 18 years old with a special needs, 15 and 14 minor children.
Tiene hijos de 22 años, de 18 años, y esa es hija especial. Luego de 15 y de 14 años, que son menores de edad.
He has been working as a chef at Mexican restaurant for the last 6 years.
En los últimos 6 años ha trabajado como un chef en un restaurante mexicano.
And he has high school degree.
Y se graduó de la secundaria.
And this is terrible tragedy accidents. And we would like to request for a little bit lower surety bond.
Y es un accidente, una tragedia muy terrible, pero quisiéramos pedir una fianza de caución un poco más bajo.
He has a private attorney who has been taking care of this matter.
Él sí tiene un abogado privado que se ha ocupado de este asunto.
And he's been responsible with insurance company to take care of all the legal matters necessary as well.
Y él también se ha demostrado responsable con la compañía de seguro de auto para que se ocupen de todo este asunto también.
That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Es todo, su señoría. Gracias.
Is the defendant working?
El señor acusado está trabajando.
He's a chef at the Mexican restaurants.
Trabaja como chef en un restaurante mexicano.
All right, I'm going to enter the order for the $17,000 split bond.
Voy a hacer que la orden de una fianza de 17,000, una fianza dividida, entre en vigor.
With a $10,000 surety bond for the first vehicular homicide offense.
Con una fianza de 10,000 para una fianza de 10,000, una fianza de caución por la primera infracción de homicidio por vehículo.
And a $5,000 surety bond for the second charge.
Luego una fianza de caución de 5,000 por la segunda infracción.
Vehicular homicide.
La segunda infracción de homicidio por vehículo.
a $1,000 signature bond for following too close,
Una fianza de $1,000 es una fianza bajo palabra por la infracción de manejar muy de cerca a otro auto.
and a $1,000 surety bond for the speeding charge.
Y luego $1,000 una fianza de caución por manejar en exceso de velocidad.
So that will be $15,000 surety bond
Entonces, una fianza de caución de 15,000
and $2,000 signature bond.
y una fianza bajo palabra de 2,000.
And I will order no driving.
Y voy a ordenar que no maneje más.
He must take Uber, Lyft, or someone else must drive him around.
Se tiene que transportar por Uber, por Lyft o alguien más tendrá que transportarlo.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Nada de consumo de alcohol ni droga, ni tenencia de armas mientras está en libertad bajo fianza.
And those signature bonds will be through the jail.
Y las fianzas bajo palabra se tramitarán por medio de la cárcel.
And is there anything else I need to take up, counsel?
¿Hay algo más que tratar, licenciadas?
Really minor thing is, Your Honor, we believe the offense date, all of them are equally July 18, 2021. But for some reason, the calendar has the first one as 2022. First two, I assume that those are typos.
Oh, I can see that. That is correct.
Una pequeña cosa, su señoría. Creemos que la fecha del incidente para todas las acusaciones es el 18 de julio de 2021, pero en la lista de causas de hoy parece que las dos primeras infracciones llevan la fecha del 2022. Me imagino que es un error tipográfico.
So were all of these 2022, Deputy Falk, or 2021?
Señora
They
licenciada,
are- my-
¿todos en el 2022 o en el 2021?
July 18th, 2021.
18 de julio de 2021.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And did I say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond?
Y ya dije que nada de consumo de alcohol, ni droga, ni tenencia de armas mientras está en libertad bajo fianza.
You did, Your Honor.
Ya lo dijo su señoría.
All right. And that will conclude this matter if there's nothing else.
Bueno, este asunto está concluido. So, no hay nada más que tratar.
No, Your Honor, nothing else.
Nothing
No, su
further, Your
señoría, nada
Honor.
más. Nada más, su señoría.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Position 9, Pollard.
Madam Interpreter, is that your only case?
From that I'm aware of, yes, Your Honor.
All right, I think you may be excused. Do we have any other interpreter cases?
No, we do not, Judge.
All right, thank you. You may be excused.
Thank you. Everyone have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. All right, this is case number 22 CR 006251C, Jayla Pollard. They're charged with one count of fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. Second count of reckless driving. Third count of failure to obey safety zone. Fourth count of failure to obey traffic signs, signals, and markings. And a fifth count of speeding, all with the offense date of September the 15th, 2022. Pretrial.
Third arrest, 2019 probation. Original charge was fleeing obstruction.
Can
Can
hear
you
you.
speak up, Mr. Howard, please?
Yeah.
Third arrest. Last arrest was 2019 probation for fleeing obstruction. Possession of a pistol by person under 18 years of age. He got first offenders for that out of Henry County. She has a Henry County hold. That's it.
Okay. Not for sure what you did. We could barely hear you. It's pretty muffled. Does anyone need the history repeated at all, or could you all hear him?
Well, I have it, so it's okay, Your Honor. I just,
Judge, did you hear me?
Now that's better. Okay.
You need me to repeat it?
No, I think, did you hear Ms. Kim?
Yes, I heard.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday. An officer was traveling northbound on Interstate I-85 near the Virginia Avenue exit when he noticed a vehicle fail to maintain lane, at which time a traffic stop was initiated by activation of the officer's emergency equipment, which the driver then started to slow down, signaling to the right shoulder as if they were going to pull over, but then accelerated beyond the normal speed limit and continued to travel northbound on 7585 Interstate Connector. Radio dispatch was notified of the attempted traffic stop, and they told the officer of the defendant's identity and noted that she had a warrant out of Henry County for felony obstruction. In the interim, the defendant then exited onto University Avenue, crossing over the Gore, disobeying traffic control device and disregarding the safety of other drivers by making a left turn when she was not allowed to do so. In addition to that, the defendant did exceed the posted speed limit, which was 35. She was going 45 on University Avenue. And after some time, she finally came to a stop. The officer gave loud commands for her to get out of the car and exit the vehicle. At that time, she did comply. Your Honor, the state, I believe there's a $3,085 surety bond in place. The state is recommending a $2,250 surety bond, $1,000 for the first count, $500 for count 2, and $250 for the remaining 3 counts. She does have that 2019 probation violation on top of the fact that she has a 2020 FTA, another 2020 FTA, and her driver's license was literally just reinstated in August or last month of this year. So based on the fact that she fled the officers and the nature of the offense and the recent probation violations and FTAs, the state feels as though a surety bond should remain in place. Nothing further.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Jayla Pollard is 22 years old, Your Honor, and she has been here in Georgia for 6 years, and she has a 3-year-old child who really needs her help right now. She's not married, and she has family members here in Georgia. She has a ties to the community, and yet she does not have a job. Ever since from June 2022, she's been actively looking for a job. However, she is currently unemployed. She graduated from high school, and we would like to request for a signature on bond and condition in the condition that she will be released to Henry County, where she also has a hold, Your Honor. She's not going anywhere. She cannot be a flight risk. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to enter the $2,250 surety bond. And that will be on the first charge, $1,000 surety bond. Second charge, $500 surety bond. Third charge, $250 surety bond. Fourth charge, $250 surety bond. And fifth charge, $250 surety bond. For a total of $2,250. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And as far as driving, I think Ms. Backus stated that the license was just reinstated in August.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And so I'm assuming she's been suspended now.
The state has no problem with leaving that up to DDS, but if she's not supposed to be driving, she doesn't need to.
Right, so what we'll put in the order, Ms. Champion, is that no driving unless she has a valid license from DDS. A valid or active license from DDS.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Clear, Ms. Pollard?
I have a question. Is there a reason why I couldn't get a signature bond? Because I'm not eligible to post bond? I won't be eligible to post bond at all.
Well, you're eligible to post bond. It'll just be a signature. I'm sorry, it'll be a surety bond through a bonding company. And that's the bond that I've given you. Due to your record, I'm not inclined to give you a signature bond today. But with the surety bond, you can go through a bonding company. Okay. And that's the ruling of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Position 5, Houston.
This is case number 22 CR 006249H. Deontay Houston, you're charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting, the 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 3rd count of pedestrian crossing the road diagonally, all with the offense date of 9/15/2022. Pretrial.
4th arrest. Last was back in March. Robbery. That's open out of Douglas County. 2018 sale of marijuana. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. And a 2019 shoplifting conviction. South Carolina.
Okay, Your Honor, there's a $2,500 surety bond in place, 1,000 on the first count, 1,000 on the second, and 500 on the third. The state is asking that stay in place and stay away from all Target stores in Georgia. Your Honor, based on that March robbery out of Douglas County, that case number is 22 CR 00823, and he's already out on a $25,000 bond. This incident did occur on yesterday. Officers were dispatched to Target located at 13055 Highway 9 in Milton regarding theft by shoplifting. Upon arrival, loss prevention associate Craig Towns advised that he was monitoring the store cameras in his office and saw a known shoplifting subject in the floor care aisle of the store. Mr. Craig said that the subject picked up a Roomba Evo robot vacuum, which was valued at $499.99, and that the defendant started to walk towards the front of the store, crossed all points of sale without paying for the merchandise, and also advised the officer that the defendant had been shoplifting from multiple other Target locations. Later, the defendant was interviewed by a detective and admitted that he did steal the items and walked out of the store, and that he was going to sell the merchandise to get money for it. When several officers attempted to get the defendant to stop by yelling verbal commands, he did not stop. He kept fleeing, and then he crossed the roadway. He crossed 2 different streets, I guess, at a point where it was not lawful for him to do so. Your Honor, like I said, based on that open case and that bond, the state feels as though a surety bond is more than appropriate. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gamp.
Thank you, Your Honor. Deontay Houston is 22 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And Your Honor, Mr. Houston informs me that he has a twin brother named Durante Houston that he tells me is actually the person who was arrested back in March. My client denies being arrested, nor does he also denies being involved in the possession of marijuana case back in 2019, case number 19 SC 166480. Mr. Houston completed 10th grade. He is currently unemployed and residentially challenged. He does not have the means to pay anything toward bond, nor does he have any family support. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Houston's behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, I would ask for a total bond of no more than $1,250. And the breakdown is $500 for theft, shoplifting, $500 for willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, and $250 for the pedestrian crossing the road. And we are opposed to a ban from all targets. However, we are unopposed to a stay away from the target at the incident location. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what I will say is that the criminal history did list the Durante as an alias. So if that is correct, that's fine. The state's argument remains as far as a surety bond. We'll defer to you on the amount, but based on the fact that the target loss prevention specialist did say that he's a known shoplifting person, he recognized him and that he's been shoplifting from other targets. He still obviously has some kind of issue with not paying for merchandise and not following the law. And so, like I said, we can amend the record if they find that Durante is another person, but the state would still ask for a surety bond.
And Your Honor, if I may, regarding the state's contentions about prior allegations, what is before you is one offense for theft, shoplifting, and I would ask that Your Honor just consider what is before you. I would ask that the court stay within the four corners of the warrant. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to leave it at the $2,500 surety bond, 1,000 on the first charge, theft by shoplifting, 1,000 on the second, and 500 on the third. So a total of 2,500 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And stay away from all targets in the state of Georgia. Do not go back to the Target store, Mr. Houston. All right, that should conclude this case.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 11, Taylor.
This is 22 CR 006245E. Said Carlise Taylor, charged with one count of criminal trespass, offense date 9/15/2022, pretrial.
18 total. He got 3 FTAs in his history. They're all for possession of cocaine. Last arrest was last month for criminal trespass. July trespass. He had a disorderly conduct conviction from February of this year. 2020 trespass conviction. 2020 trespass arrest. 2019 trespass. 2018 trespass. He pled NOLO to a trespass as well. Another failure to appear. And another 2017 sale of marijuana. And he had Arkansas armed robberies from the 90s, 1999. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Backus.
Yes, Your Honor. What I would add is that from the 7/2022 trespass, it was at the same location and he's on probation for that, as well as the last month criminal trespass, he's on probation for that as well. The incident occurred yesterday. An off-duty officer that was working an extra job at Lenox Mall at 3393 Peachtree Road was made aware of a known trespasser who was identified as the defendant, returning to the property after being issued multiple trespass warnings in the afternoon. The officer was familiar with the defendant as he had previously issued him criminal trespass warnings which he violated and was arrested on July 20th of 2022. The officer witnessed the defendant entering the food court of the mall after being told by security to leave and continue to remain until they took him into custody. There is a $1,500 surety bond in place, Your Honor. Based on those probation, the multiple offenses, the FTAs, the state is asking that $1,500 surety bond would stay in place. Stay away from Lenox Mall and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further.
All right. Tim?
Mr. Taylor is 39 years old and he has been here in Georgia for the last 20 years. And he has family members here in Georgia, including his children. And he graduated from high school. He actually he says that he's been going to AA meetings and Bible talk meetings to be more positive, contribution to the society. However, he is currently challenged residentially, so we are actually asking social worker services to help him with housing resources. And he has no resources right now because he's not employed at all. He has no financial means to pay for $1,500 surety bond. So we would like to request for signature on bond. And yet, if your honor is not inclined to give you a signature on bond, we would like to request for $500 surety bond. Thank you.
And what was the state's recommendation again?
That the surety bond that's in place remain, which is 1,500, stay away from Lennox and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, I will order that $1,500 surety bond stay in place. They stay away from the Lennox Mall.
Hey, Your Honor, may I say something?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know.
Mr. Taylor, no, I would like to recommend you to stay silent. You have every right to remain silent. Yes.
Remember, could be used against you. So I'm gonna order the $1,500 surety bond, stay away from the Lennox Mall. I didn't hear the address, I just didn't write it down.
It's 3393 Peachtree Road, Your Honor.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. All right, that should conclude this case. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, Your
That
Honor.
is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, I'll call you and explain to you, so please stay silent. Thanks.
We're done. Position 3, Hall.
This is case number 22 CR 006248A. Willington Hall, you're charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, 2nd count of simple battery, both with the offense date of September the 15th, 2022. Pre-trial.
8 total. Last arrest was 2012. Aggravated assault, possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission. Those were convictions. 2010 probation violation. 2009 probation. And 2008, 3 counts of ag assault, 1 count possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. Those 4 charges were convictions. 2008, possession of a pistol by a person under 18 years of age, conviction. Shoplifting, obstruction, conviction, 2008.
Okay. That it, pre-trial? All right, you can go ahead, Ms. Tortorella.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $9,000 total surety bond. For the battery family violence, that would be a $5,000 surety, and for the simple battery, a $4,000 surety bond. The conditions is no contact with both victims. One of the victims' names is Olive Getrich. The first name is spelled O, L as in log, E, V as in Victor, E-Y. And the last name is G-E, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, R-I-D-G-E. The second victim's name is Tabrice Fletcher. The first name is spelled T as in Tom, A, B as in boy, R as in Robert, E, S as in Sam, E, and Fletcher is the traditional spelling. For the defendant to stay away from 345 Wellington Street Southwest in Atlanta. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, 1-day anger management, and no violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this defendant is a flight risk, and he poses a risk of reoffending while out on bond. He currently has a hold out of Troup County with no bond. To add, he has an outstanding warrant out of Gainesville, Georgia. The warrant was issued July 22nd, 2019. This incident occurred on September 15th, 2022 at 345 Wellington Street. This defendant does pose a significant threat and danger to Miss Olivia Getridge and Miss Tabrice Fletcher. Officer Cowens and Officer DeVoe of the Atlanta Police Department were dispatched to the incident location in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, the officers met with the victims, Ms. Getridge and Ms. Fletcher. Ms. Fletcher stated she was asleep with Ms. Getridge in their room when Ms. Getridge's ex-husband, defendant Wellington Hall, came barging into the room and yelled, walked towards Ms. Fletcher, pulled her hair, and then proceeded to pull Ms. Getridge off of the bed and then drag her around the room. Ms. Fletcher advised officers her head was hurting, and Ms. Getridge advised her right knee was hurting and that there was an abrasion on it. The defendant left the scene and he was eventually arrested, and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, it's foreseeable this defendant will intimidate the victims in this matter. And the fact that the victim, not only the victims called 911, but they also texted 911 upon the defendant's return to the residence shows that they're frightened and they are scared they're worried about their safety of this defendant, and that they actually needed law enforcement to intervene. They contacted 911 twice that day. To add, Your Honor, you've heard the 2012 aggravated assault conviction out of Fulton County Superior Court, the 2009 aggravated assault. He actually pled 3 times to aggravated assault in 2009 out of Fulton County Superior Court, and the 2008 possession of a pistol or revolver for a person 18 years of age. This also is a conviction out of Fulton County Superior Court. However, the bus or rail vehicle hijacking was dismissed. He has several VOPs on his record, Your Honor. So due to the 8 cycles, his violent history, the fact that he has a hold and an outstanding warrant out for his arrest, and the facts of this matter, we're asking for that $9,000 surety bond with the condition stated. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wellington Hall is 31 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He shares 2 children with Ms. Olivia Getridge, one of the complaining witnesses. The children are ages 9 and 7 years old. He and the complaining witness, at least with regard to Ms. Getridge, have been married for 6 years, but they are currently separated. Your Honor, Mr. Hall informs me that he does not live at the incident location. However, he states that Ms. Getridge does have his phone. So we are unopposed to any stay away and no contact orders. However, we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that he may retrieve whatever property he has there. Mr. Hall completed the 11th grade. He is currently employed as a kitchen manager at a local sports bar. He has been in that position for the past 7 months. He denies the allegations, Your Honor, and while I acknowledge my client's history, I would bring to the court's attention that it has been 10 years since his convictions for violence. He is unaware of the warrants, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Hall's behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond reduction. We do believe that $9,000 is excessive given the nature of the allegations, and of course he is presumed innocent. Your Honor, I would ask for a bond of no more than $500 for the simple battery and $1,000 for battery family violence. And again, we are unopposed to the no contact and stay away orders, but would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort and third-party transfer so that he may continue to see his children. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And he has a hold?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold.
Yes.
Out of where?
Troup County.
All right, I'm going to order a $8,000 surety bond, 4,000 on each charge. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location. No further contact with victims. Ms. Getteridge, and I think the other was a Fletcher, or is there two victims?
Yes, Your Honor. It's, do you need the first names too?
I think that Miss Champion has them. Do you, Miss Champion? Yes. She has them.
Yes, Ms. Getridge and Ms. Fletcher.
All right, stay away from those two victims. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and a one-time law enforcement escort to return to the property if there is a need to retrieve any personal items. And understand that there may be two children involved. If there's any visitation, that should be obviously facilitated by a third party. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor, from the defense.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, we got position number 2, Mr. Garland.
Okay. This is case number 22 CR 006247E. Marcus Garland, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. The offense date is March the 24th, 2021. Pre-trial.
Third arrest. Last was back in April out of Chicago. Domestic battery. February of this year. This says ordinance out of Chicago. That's all I have.
All right, Ms. Tartarello.
And Your Honor, just to inform the court, the defendant's mother, Miss Josette Sanders, has also been arrested, but for a separate case in another incident date that also involves Mr. Garland as the victim in that case. So just wanted to advise the court.
Okay.
So Your Honor, for this case, we're asking for a $1,500 surety bond. The conditions is that the defendant have no contact with his mother, Josette Sanders. The first name is spelled Josettete. Sanders is traditional spelling. To stay away from the incident location at 2135 Godby Road, Building 1, Apartment 202 in College Park, Georgia. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, 1-day anger management, BHET, no violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this incident occurred on March 4th, 2021 at the incident location 2135 Godby Road. This defendant does pose a significant threat and danger to the property of Ms. Josette Sanders. Officer Moss of the College Park Police Department was dispatched to a verbal dispute call at the incident location. Upon arrival, the officer met with Ms. Josette Sanders, who advised that her son, the defendant Marcus Garland, tried kicking the door down at 5:15 p.m. that day, but was unsuccessful. However, the defendant left extensive damage to the door. Then at 8 p.m., the defendant returned and he did prevail in kicking the door down, and it caused extensive damage to the door. And the repairs for that is about $200. A defendant was eventually arrested, and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, as far as intimidation of witnesses and the victim here, it's foreseeable due to the facts of this case. And the fact the defendant returned to finish off kicking down the door of his mother's home, that he will in fact continue to intimidate her. To add, in the report, Mrs. Sanders advised the defendant was supposed to be assisting her because she was ill, but had taken advantage of the situation by attempting to take over the house. She further stated that the defendant was kicking the door. While he was kicking the door, he scared his siblings, 13-year-old AA, 5-year-old LY, and 4-year-old JY. When he succeeded in kicking the door, everyone in the house was frightened. And when he entered the residence, Miss Sanders stated he did so to show that he was in charge. He also made threats to take his little brother AA's new Xbox. The victim advised police the defendant acts very aggressive towards her and her kids and is verbally abusive towards them. The defendant has 1 cycle, Your Honor, in Georgia and 2 cycles out of Illinois. It appears that the April 10th, 2022 bodily harm case is still open. The disposition of that is judgment forfeiture on June 14th, 2022, and he was arrested by Chicago PD. So for that reason, Your Honor, we do feel $1,500 surety bond is more than reasonable. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. McLeod.
Ms. Gant, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do not represent him, Your Honor. I represent Mom.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Marcus Garland is 19 years old. He is a lifelong Atlanta resident. However, Your Honor, he did relocate momentarily to Chicago. He states that he has been in the Atlanta area for about 2 months. He is here to assist his father, whom he states was shot 7 times. His father owns a moving company, and he is basically here to help his father run the moving company. Mr. Garland completed high school. He is, as I stated, currently employed at Right Choice Moving Company. He has been in that position for the last 2 months. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. I would bring to the court's attention that this incident happened back in March of 2021. My client tells me that he loves his mother very much. He wants to have contact with her. We are opposed to any no contact and stay away orders, and would ask that if Your Honor imposes a stay away, that he be granted a one-time law enforcement escort so that he may retrieve any belongings and in regards to the state's contentions, stating that he's a danger to the property and the residents there. I just believe that the court should strongly consider the fact that Mr. Garland is before the court today because he in fact was assaulted by his mother allegedly. I did not hear the state put forth any basis regarding a BHET. If that's what I heard, I believe that I heard a request for BHET. We are opposed to that. And if Your Honor determines that he's ineligible for that signature bond, I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. However, I did receive a pretrial report indicating that he is eligible. And lastly, my client, it denies that he was arrested back in April of 2022 for battery charge. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just to add this, as you know, there's a subsequent open case against the same parties. To add, there were 3 incident reports by the College Park Police Department, and there were 21 calls from that residence that came involving these 2 parties. So for that reason, Your Honor, we are asking for no contact and to stay away. As far as the BHET, the state considers this defendant high risk and a high need, meaning this defendant is under 25 years of age. He currently has an open battery case in Chicago. We feel that at least there should be BHET to come to see what's going on with the defendant and see if he needs anything else.
Well, if I may, Your Honor, I did not hear about any convictions for my client. And again, this criminal trespass is from 2021. As we are aware here, we're here because of my client being battered.
And also because of the criminal damage.
All right, I'm going to order the $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Josette Sanders and to stay away from the 2135, I think it's Godby Road, Building 1. I didn't write the apartment down, but
202.
202, okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I won't order anything else at this time.
Your Honor, may we have a one-time law enforcement escort? He informs me that he has belongings at that residence.
All right, yes, one-time law enforcement escort to return to retrieve your personal items. Mr. Garland, do not go back to that location by yourself. You must arrange for a law enforcement escort to return. All right, anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
You're done. Judge, I have a quick announcement for position 1. They waived their appearance and we're actually completed here in courtroom 2.
Okay, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You do the same.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have position 10, Ms. Sanders at the South Annex.
Okay. This is 22 CR 006244Y. Joseph Sanders, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. The offense date is September the 15th, 2022. Pre-trial.
It's an 8th arrest. Last was 2019 suspended license out of Illinois. She had a speeding conviction from 2009. She was found not guilty for robbery, intimidation, and she also had an arson with that arrest, but that was non-pros. She had a battery from like 2003, domestic, and it said stricken off with leave to reinstate. All of her history come out of Illinois. That's all.
All right. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday, September 15th, 2022 at 2135 Godby Road, Building 1, Apartment 202 in College Park. Officer Moss of the College Park Police Department was dispatched to a verbal dispute call at the incident location. Upon arrival, the officer observed a woman later identified as a defendant, Miss Josette Sanders. Miss Josette Sanders with a laceration on the left side of her face. The defendant advised she and her son got into a physical altercation at the home in which they resided together. Mr. Garland, the defendant's son, advised there was an argument regarding chores and it became physical when the defendant punched him with a closed fist, which landed on his chest. And the defendant attempted to strike Mr. Garland multiple times and eventually fell to the floor and a gash opened up on the left side of her face. The defendant admitted to the officers that she initiated the physical altercation between herself and Mr. Garland. The defendant was arrested and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, just looking at what's going on here, the College Park Police Department has stated there's a call log that shows police that there've been about 21, they've been dispatched there 21 times. And the following case numbers are relevant to these two parties: 20-12510, 21-02856, and 21-07565. Your Honor, we understand that she has her last conviction was in 2009. The state does feel this is quite remote, and the prior case leading up to this case says a lot about what's going on. We're asking for a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. The conditions is that she have no contact with Mr. Marcus Garland, her son. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, a 1-day anger management, and no violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
Your Honor.
Yes.
We are not opposed to the signature bond, Your Honor, but my client has informed me that she does want to have contact with her child. We discussed that at length. My client is 36 years old, Your Honor. She is the mother of 4 children, 3 of whom are minors. Her eldest was just before you. The incident with her son, when he was generated this warrant for him, happened a long time ago. She says she still does want to have contact with him because he is her child. And she doesn't want a stay away or no contact from him. She is quite insistent on that, Your Honor. He doesn't have to live there, of course, because as was stated by his counsel previously, he can live with his dad. Other than that, Your Honor, we're not opposed to what the prosecution is saying regarding her bond and the terms of her bond.
Your Honor, just again, I've already stated this, but there were multiple Leo calls to that residence about, they were dispatched about 21 times, and they have, all those case numbers are College Park police case numbers that I've placed on record, Your Honor. So for that reason, at this time, we're asking for no contact. It seems like these parties cannot have contact with each other.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond.
Your Honor, this, I believe my client doesn't have any.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you.
Signature bond. Calm down, breathe, please.
It's a signature bond, Ms. Sanders.
Is that a signature bond? We're gonna go. Okay, calm down. I need you to breathe. Breathe. Breathe for me. Come on. Breathe. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good girl. You're all right. You're gonna be okay. You're going home. You're going home. Okay, you're going home. Come on. I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Come on. Breathe. It's gonna be all right. You're going home, sweetheart. You're going home. Okay? Relax. Okay, come on. Come on. You're going home. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. It's gonna be all right. You're going home. You're going home. Okay? You good? Okay. Just sit right here for me. Can you sit right here for me? Sit right here. Come on, like position number 7.
And that would be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. I was going to finish my ruling on that case.
Yes, Your Honor, she can hear you.
All right, so it's a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and no further contact with Marcus Garland. And I'm assuming that his mom, she lives at that location, correct?
She does, Your Honor, with her 3 minor children.
Okay. And so Mr. Garland is not to come back to that location. And again, that should be all that I need to say at this point. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
Your
Your
Honor.
All right.
Are you going to give them 1 day?
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
Next, we have position number 7, Miss Jaquaria Jack.
Okay. This is 22 CR 006242Y. Jaquaria Jack, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery and family violence. The offense date is April the 20th, 2022. Pre-trial.
Second arrest. She was arrested on the 14th of this month for suspended registration. She went to the city jail for that. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident occurred on April 20th of this year. An officer was dispatched to 1502 River Green Drive regarding a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer met with the defendant, who told the officer that her mother, who's the victim in this case, Miss Jamie Randolph, came over to the residence and began yelling that she needed to clean up, and stated that following the verbal dispute, she pushed her mother because her mother was throwing her things around. And the defendant also stated that her mom grabbed her by the neck. On that same day, I guess the officer called the victim, Miss Randolph, who advised that she allows her daughter to stay at the apartment. Miss Randolph does not reside there, but stopped at the apartment to pick up some items and check her mail. When she got there, she noticed that the apartment had a foul smell and was not clean. And so she complained and told the defendant that the apartment needed to be cleaned up. And that's when she said that the defendant started to scream at the top of her lungs. She did say that she was battling depression. She was crying, and that she told her mother, "I hate you." And so Miss Randolph said, "Well, if you hate me, you need to leave." And so she did start placing her things at the door. And at that time, that's when the defendant, the mother said she either pushed her or punched her on her back while she was moving the items. So the defendant, she did say that she was clinically diagnosed with depression, and she has medication that she did not take on that day. And our victim witness advocate did speak with the mother as well, who I believe is on the line, and Your Honor can sound for her. But she said that she did not want to press charges, that they haven't had any violence since this incident, and that her daughter does suffer from depression and she wasn't on medication at the time. We understand that she has limited history. Based on the nature of the offense, we are asking for a $2,000 surety bond. There has been some significant time passing, so we're okay with the no further violent contact. And we would ask that she take all of her prescribed medication and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Kim, do you want the witness to go first, or the victim?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like Ms. Randolph go first.
All right, Ms. Randolph, can you unmute yourself? Yes, would you like to address the court?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. Speaking.
Right, hold on. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes,
All right,
I do.
yeah. Go ahead. What would you like to tell me?
I would just like to say, since the incident, it was a horrible mistake. You know, my daughter, Sean, she was just upset. She had a lot of pressure. She was trying to find a job. And of course, no, the apartment was not clean, but as far as the incident in itself, it was isolated. Within a few days afterwards, we were back in each other's company. Like before she was arrested a few days ago, she had just left my house. We've not had any incidents since then. She's employed. Like currently, she was supposed to be at work at 2 o'clock today. She's established her own self. She has her own apartment. She has her own car. She's doing everything that she's supposed to be doing. I don't know, she doesn't have a whole lot of money, but as far as just being, it's my daughter, like I said, and it was an isolated incident, and it was a horrible mistake that occurred. She is taking her medicine and she's doing way better right now.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Jack is 24 years old, and she has been here in Georgia for more than 13 years. She's a single, and of course, her family members are here in Georgia, and she's working, gainfully employed at a Quick Trip gas station. She's been working there for the last 3 months, and she wants to keep her job. And she graduated from high school, and she's still going to the college online. She's taking classes at Gwinnett Tech College, and we would like to request for signature on bond for her. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, Jamie Randolph. And the 1-day anger awareness course to pretrial. Anything else council need to take up?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Hold on. One other thing is for the defendant to take all of her medication as prescribed while on bond.
Thank you.
Okay? That should conclude this matter.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend, everybody. That's it from the South Annex.
All right. Take care.
Have a good weekend.
Are we going back to position 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This is case number 22 CR 0062268. Jamie and Bradbury charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. The offense date is August 5th, 2022. Defendant has waived his appearance. Pre-trial.
He went to felony the other day for false imprisonment, battery, and abuse of an elderly person. He got no bond for that. 2018, case number 18 SC 161591. He was convicted for a 1 count felony terrorist threat, aggravated assault, obstruction, misdemeanor. Hold on. 2019 aggravated assault conviction that was out of Judge Newkirk. He was arrested May of this year for simple battery. He says time served. 2020 battery DV. 2017 criminal damage to property, 2nd degree criminal trespass. 2017 disorderly conduct. 2017 trespass. 2017 simple battery and reckless conduct. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking for the current $1,500 surety bond to change to a $1,500 cash bond. That he have no contact with the victim. His name is Willie Huey. To stay away from 1135 Oakland Drive Southwest, apartment C2 in Atlanta. BHET, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this defendant does pose a risk of reoffending and committing felonies while he's out on bond. He also poses a significant threat and danger to the victim, Willie Huey. And he poses a risk of intimidating him as well. That open case that you heard from pretrial 22 CP 212296, where he's charged with false imprisonment, exploiting abuse of elderly or disabled, and battery. This actually involves the same victim, Your Honor. In this case, the witness, Brittany Moses, stated that upon her attempting to go into the business, a male covered in blood came to the door and advised her that this he said, expletive is closed for today. Miss Moses, the witness, stated that the male then locked the door and started to punch 72-year-old Mr. Huey in the head. After the officer gave several verbal commands for the defendant to open the door, the officer forced open the door and located the victim, who had sustained visible injuries to his face and had blood all over his clothing. They found the defendant, Mr. Damian Bradbury, inside the location, covered in blood and yelling. And this incident, Your Honor, it occurred actually prior to the felony offense. So this one, the felony offense occurred on September 12th, 2022, just a few days ago, and this incident occurred on August 6th, 2022. The incident location is 1135 Oakland Drive Southwest, apartment C2 in Atlanta. Officer Jay Cowings of the Atlanta Police Department responded to the incident location regarding the dispute. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the victim, Mr. Huey, who said he was in a dispute with a former tenant, defendant Damian Bradbury, who left the scene. The defendant came over and attempted to gain entry into Mr. Huey's home and began knocking on the door for several minutes. The defendant then began to punch the glass windows and as a result, caused window damage. The officer observed the damage to the window and a large amount of blood on the ground near the window. The defendant was eventually arrested, and these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we are concerned for the victim here. He not only committed this offense, but also subsequently returned to further assault the victim on another date. To add, for this incident, Mr. Huey did not allow the defendant into his home due to the two of them having a dispute in the past as a result. The victim also advised our office that he has known the defendant for a few years because they frequent the same barber shop. The victim said there's a prior incident involving the defendant and himself 3 years ago that occurred at his home as well. This defendant has 15 cycles, Your Honor. He was convicted of aggravated assault. It was initially a battery family violence. It was upgraded to an aggravated assault out of Fulton County Superior Court in 2021. In 2019, he was convicted of aggravated assault, terroristic threats out of Fulton County Superior Court. And on the same date, Your Honor, December 19th, 2019, he was convicted of another case for aggravated assault. And the battery charge there merged with the aggravated assault out of Fulton County. Criminal trespass, he was convicted for in 2019 as well in state court here in Fulton County. He was convicted of 2 counts of criminal trespass out of Fulton County State Court in 2018. And that was transferred to the DA's office. I'm sorry, that was transferred from the DA's office. It was originally criminal damage to second degree. So, Your Honor, you get the picture. This defendant does have a violent criminal history, convictions to that matter, and the fact that he has 2 cases with the same victim, one being a felony. So for that reason, we're asking for a $1,500 cash bond with the conditions imposed. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Damian Bradbury is 32 years old. He is a lifelong Atlanta resident. However, he does not have any family to assist with bond. He completed high school. However, at the moment, Your Honor, he is currently unemployed. He also is residentially challenged. I had planned to engage a social worker to assist with or to identify and assist with any needs with for Mr. Bradbury. Therefore, we are unopposed to the BHET. I am opposed to the cash bond. My client is unemployed, and with regard to the state's contentions that he will reoffend, continue to commit felonies and intimidate the witness. As we heard, he is being held without bond, Your Honor, and the incident that is before you, a misdemeanor allegation that he broke a window at a residence, Your Honor, $1,500 bond is excessive, and this incident preceded the allegation for which he's presumed innocent. So I'm asking for a signature bond for Mr. Bradbury. He clearly isn't a flight risk since he's being held with no bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a surety bond of no more than $1,000. And we are unopposed to any stay away and no contact provisions. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just to add, I did chat both Attorney Gant and yourself about my reasoning for the BHET. And to add, I just want to stress this involves an elderly person. And this defendant continued to pursue him to the point where he ended up committing that felony offense. We are very concerned for this individual, for the victim in this case, So for that reason, we do feel that cash bond is more than justifiable.
All right. All right, I will go ahead and order the $1,500 cash bond. I'm going to order the BHET. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, and weapons while on bond. I'm going to order to stay away from the victim, Willie Huey. And of course, to stay away from the incident location, 11, was it 11-350? Or 1-350?
Let me look it up, Your Honor.
Neither of those, 1135.
Correct.
1135.
Apartment C2.
Oakland Drive Southwest, apartment C2 in Atlanta. And I think that is it. Anything else?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And that's the last case.
Last case.
Okay.
Position number 1 is a $1,500 cash bond reset SAP 929. Position number 2 is a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 929. Position number 3 is a total of $8,000 good bond reset SAP 929. Position number 4 is a $3,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 5 is a $2,500 good bond reset SAP 929. Position number 6 is a total of a $2,000 sign-up bond for the jail reset further notice. Position number 7 is a $3,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 8 is a total of a $17,000 split bond reset SAP 929. Position number 9 is a total of a $2,250 good bond reset SAP 929. Position number 10 is a $5,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 11 is a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 929. And position number 12 is a $4,000 good bond reset SAP 929. Any questions?
Oh, ma'am, sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Falk, today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor.